Hello everyone and welcome back to Ushanka Show. So I decided to make another show and tell. I recently stopped at Walmart and got some groceries and I bought, I don't know, some of you might even cancel your subscription to Ushanka Show, but Comrade Sergey is drinking instant coffee. And I know it's a big no-no for many Americans, but this is how I grew up. We actually were drinking instant coffee. And was our premium coffee that was really hard to get. It was very expensive and had this beautiful girl on the label. So this is, I guess I don't need to translate you. It's an Indian instant coffee. It came from India, from our friendly Indian country, and it was a 6 rubles for this can. Now I just purchased this Colombian coffee from Walmart. It's their great value brand, and this big bottle set me back $6.74. So I decided to do a little mental math. So if we want to compare minimum wages and purchasing power, in Soviet Union minimum wage was 70 rubles a month, and that's usually like cleaning people, maybe people that work in the kindergartens. I don't call them babysitters, but we call them воспитатели. So they were taking care of the children, right? So 70 rubles a month, it comes to about 43 kopeyki an hour. Now in the United States, minimum wage right now, federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Of course, it depends on the state. Michigan, I think, is like $9.31. So if you do working full time at minimum wage, which is unusual by itself, minus taxes, you're looking about $1,000 a month. So $1,000 a month, United States minimum wage versus 70 rubles a month in Soviet Union minimum wage. So if you look at the coffee comparison, and I already made a video, it was decent coffee, surprisingly. It didn't smell good, but taste was actually better than Taster Choice. I'll post the link below this video. But basic math comes to this. So the Soviet cleaning lady working minimum wage could purchase 12 cans of this coffee for her money. Meanwhile, a person working in McDonald's in America could purchase 148 cans of this coffee. So 12 cans, Soviet minimum wage, and 148 cans. But of course, the devil is in details. This can is 198 grams. This cute can, I mean, for the picture, you can add another 10 gram, but this is only, where is it? Was it somewhere? It's 90 gram. Yeah, right here. So it's 90 gram of coffee. So besides it's crazy expensive, it's way less volume. So you look in, so the Soviet minimum wage, a person could buy 1 kilogram of instant coffee. 1 kilo. Working all month. Minimum wage United States, 129 kilograms of coffee. So minimum wage measured in instant coffee is 20 times higher in the United States than it used to be in the Soviet Union. But of course, you need to remember that housing was really cheap, and the person could literally pay about 10%. If you make 70 rubles a month, you'll pay about 7 rubles a month if you have a small one-room apartment. The rent, so-called kvarplata, will be about 7 rubles. It was based on size. Every square meter was 13 kopecks, just the rent, and then of course you have utilities. But just interesting that this way, if you compare coffee-wise, or coffee is dirt cheap in America, or was insanely expensive in Soviet Union, both imports, right, came from Colombia, came from India. But it's kind of gives idea because a lot of people, writing me, how can you compare, complain about life in the Soviet Union, your housing was so cheap or it was free. Well, it wasn't free, first of all, but the devil's in details, like that expression, you don't see the forest behind the tree. So a lot of people, they look at that free, cheap housing tree and they don't see the forest. And the forest is that everything else was so much more expensive. Groceries, it looks like 5 to 10 times were more expensive for the Soviet consumer versus American consumer. Clothing was even worse. So in the end, picture, yes, for example, if the Biden will rip his mask off and show his real socialist face and makes the law that people pay only 13 cents a square meter for housing in America, and suddenly your rent is, instead of $1,000 a month, it drops down to $10 a month. The increase in prices for food and everything else to match Soviet prices, you will pay, instead of $600 a month on groceries, you'll pay $6,000. So you will be back to square one, or maybe even worse, because my family, both parents worked full time, both parents were union members, and we barely get by. We didn't have extra money to do any fancy trips. We even couldn't dream about buying a car. So yeah, interesting. But coffee wise, it's just one more time, 29 times it was cheaper pretty much in America to live on a minimal wage if you do the coffee math, versus that's pretty much was the, and that's another thing, this is the most premium coffee that you could find. It was in short supply, it was deficit. It wasn't not just walk in a store and buy it, besides being so expensive. And of course, any Walmart, you can walk in and buy 10 cans of this coffee anytime you want. So there's another, I honestly don't know if anybody knows, there's anybody come up with a formula, how would you include time factor in your statistics? So for example, yes, this coffee was 6 rubles a can, but then I have to spend an hour in a line to buy a coffee. What kind of upcharge would you add? 50 kopecks per can? Like, what was worth my time? I guess for the cleaning lady, there was another additional 43 kopecks an hour. So if she spent 1 hour in line buying this coffee, so it will cost her 6 rubles 43 kopecks. I guess that could be the way I looked at it, at the minimal wage or whatever person was making. So yeah, this is kind of interesting comparison. But yeah, the coffee, instant coffee, look crazy expensive in the Soviet Union. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye.